The internet, as always, has become a battleground for celebrity feuds. But when the war of words involves a father and son, especially on Father's Day, the drama takes on an entirely different kind of sting. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, known for his ruthless savagery in rap battles and public feuds alike, found himself in a digital standoff with his eldest son, Marquise Jackson, once again. And this time the world watched with a mixture of shock, amusement, and heartache. On Sunday, June 15th, Marquise Jackson took to social media with pointed posts that seemed deliberately crafted to provoke a reaction from his father, and he got exactly that. In an era where social media acts as both a diary and a stage, Marquise aired grievances that reflected years of pent-up frustration, emotional wounds, and perhaps a desperate need to be heard. His posts included a deepfake-style AI-generated video clip showing a nostalgic reimagining of 50 Cent as a father figure, featuring a young Marquise and a baby resembling Sire Jackson, 50 Cent's youngest son from a different relationship. The use of artificial intelligence to fabricate a version of family unity that never existed, or perhaps once did, and was later shattered, sent a chilling message. It wasn't just a visual jab. It was a symbolic cry, a technological ghost, of the family life he may have longed for, but never had. The second post took the sting a step further. It jokingly presented betting odds on whether 50 Cent would post pictures of both his children on Father's Day, or just Sire, as he's done in previous years. The implication was clear. Marquise felt ignored, neglected, and perhaps worse, replaced. For any parent-child dynamic, this would sting. But in the world of 50 Cent, where feuds play out like heavyweight bouts and loyalty is currency, the message sparked a firestorm. The response from 50 Cent was swift, merciless, and vintage Curtis Jackson. He posted on Instagram, directly addressing his eldest son, referring to him in no uncertain terms as a little punk. His caption scorched with accusation and resentment. "You little punk, your mama got you and your sister scamming." Then people came to ask me some questions about it. I said, I don't FBCK with them, I'm a law-abiding citizen. The statement was as brutal as it was telling. In those few sentences, 50 Cent didn't just dismiss his son, he distanced himself entirely from Marquise's life, even when that life intersected with federal inquiry. The tone was not of a father scolding a child. It was the tone of a man cutting ties, throwing his son into the wind with an accusation that could carry legal weight. But he wasn't finished. Shortly after, 50 Cent doubled down with another post, a meme-style message implying he would be blamed for alleged scamming related to PPP loans, a nod to federal pandemic relief funds that many have abused. "I bet they are going to blame me when they get picked up for scamming PPP loans. They're going to say it was my fault they were broke," the post read. Again, the barb was not just aimed at Marquise, but at his mother and others in their circle. It painted 50 as the wronged man, the scapegoat, the outlier who walked away from what he portrayed as a toxic family unit. The reaction on social media was, predictably, explosive. Marquise eventually deleted the Father's Day posts, perhaps realizing the fire he'd lit had grown larger than expected. But in the world of digital permanence, deletion means little. Screenshots, reposts, and commentary flooded Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. The court of public opinion was open for business, and everyone had something to say. Some comments were hopeful, wistful even, suggesting reconciliation. One user lamented, "Y'all could be twins. I wish you two could get along." This was a common sentiment among fans who had watched their story unfold for years. A father and son, both strong-willed, stubborn, and proud, clashing in ways that seemed Shakespearean in tragedy. Others found dark humor in the situation. Only 50 could beef with his own son on Father's Day, one fan joked. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. A man who had built his career on being untouchable, on feuding with Ja Rule, The Game, Rick Ross, and even Oprah, was now locked in a very public conflict with his own blood. and somehow it didn't feel out of character. Still, there were those who found no humor in the situation, only heartbreak. Coming at your son on Father's Day is wild. This ain't it. What happened with all that energy with the diddler? I guess because Diddy said, "Who's your daddy now?" The comment read, pointing not just to the familial conflict, but also to 50 Cent's selective fire. The commenter essentially accused 50 of dodging fights with those who might fight back harder and redirecting his venom toward the vulnerable, his own child. To understand the depth of this estrangement, one must go back years. Marquise Jackson was once the center of 50 Cent's world. Born in 1997 to Shaniqua Tompkins, Marquise was, for a time, 50's pride and joy. In old interviews and early 2000s photos, you can see the joy in 50 Cent's eyes when he spoke about his son. But as relationships fractured, money disputes exploded, and personal grievances multiplied, so too did the rift between father and son. What's tragic is that this was not the story of a father who was completely absent. No, 50 Cent was very much present in Marquise's early years, at least financially and publicly. The stories of private schools, child support battles, and a multi-million-dollar mansion Shaniqua once lived in, all of it played out like a daytime drama. And it didn't end there. Over the years, the bitterness seemed to ferment into something darker. Marquise, now an adult, has repeatedly voiced feelings of abandonment, of being treated like an outsider. In one particularly telling interview, he remarked that $6,700 a month in child support wasn't enough. The comment was widely ridiculed, but it underscored something deeper. A boy who equated money with love because that's what had been measured his entire life. Cent, on the other hand, has argued that his son was manipulated by his mother, that he was poisoned against him, and that the disrespect became too much to forgive. He's referred to Marquise as entitled, ungrateful, and in some ways, dead to him. And that is perhaps the most haunting element of their dynamic. Not the insults, not the posts, not the memes, but the complete emotional severing between father and son. Even in celebrity circles where drama is par for the course, the 50 Cent Marquise saga hits differently. There is no record deal or Grammy award that can repair the fractured trust between a parent and a child. Fans know it, the media knows it, and perhaps deep down, both men know it too. Still, they keep performing for an audience that will never fully understand the depth of their pain. Social media claps and laughs, but behind each post are years of silence, betrayal, disappointment, and misunderstood gestures. The AI video wasn't just a clever gimmick, it was a ghost of what could have been. The betting odds weren't just jokes, they were jabs from a son who once begged for his father's love and now finds power only in mocking the absence of it. And 50 Cent's response? It wasn't just about legal threats or distancing from fraud. It was the cry of a man who feels betrayed by his own bloodline, by the boy he once cradled in his arms. Little Punk might be the public label, but the private label could very well be, "Son, I don't know how to forgive." No matter what side the public takes, the situation remains a cautionary tale. Not just about fame, but about fractured family bonds and the dangers of letting bitterness lead the way. In a world where everything becomes content, some things, like the love between a father and son, should be sacred. But maybe for Curtis and Marquise, that bridge has already burned, and all that's left are the ashes they throw at each other on Instagram. And yet, somewhere in all of this, there is still the ghost of possibility. Perhaps not today, or this year, or even in this decade, but maybe someday when the memes stop and the cameras turn off, father and son might find their way back, not for the fans, not for the headlines, but for themselves.